Hello, hello, hello. We are here. We are here. We are here on Jack's couch. Okay. We are here on Jack's couch. We are not absent. We are here. This is Love is Blind UK season 3. Um, and we have lots to say. Some people say it was coasting, it was not too much, but it had enough sprinkle of drama for us and a lot of topics for us to discuss. But we are here, and I'm gonna definitely also drop the link if there's anyone, especially from the UK, who would like to tap in and have the conversation with us. You certainly can. Hey Trey, what's up?
Good afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon, our queen. You are back. You are reigning supreme. Here we go. It's definitely been it's been a season. It's been a season. I guess the only thing I have to say is, if you have a decent season, why would you shotgun it like this? Like, this was for the most part, a good season. You can even make an argument. We had some good success stories, even though the reunion's not here yet. Why would you shotgun it like the season like this? You slow burn it to bring the viewership in. This is what you. This is a season you slow burn it. 4 episodes each. Boom. Why would you shotgun this? I don't understand. But whatever. We're here now.
Well, what has been on the UK streets is that the past 2 seasons have not really been numbers makers. They have not been numbers makers. So that's why they dropped all 8 and kept it pushing. Because if we are, I see you in the back, Moondas Girly. If we are here, like looking at other international versions, like you and I watch them consistently, UK is very mild. UK compared to the others is mild. Now you have your whole Big Bird from last season and all that stuff. We have some spice, but it's not as out there as other variations. And y'all could certainly say in the comment section whether you agree to that or not. We do have Munda's Girly joining us. Hey girl.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, really good.
And so we're going to dive into this. And since, Trey is always here, no offense, Trey. Munda's Girly, who you want to talk about first?
Faye and Jack for sure.
Oh, Faye and Jack. Okay. Oh, we starting off with the couch. I mean, the background of Faye and Jack, and now we really on the couch. So they tried to tell us that Jack was late.
He was probably looking for his sliders.
Oh, but let's start off from the beginning. Jack is a chef. I wonder if he was just hired to cook for them in the men's lounge. But in the men's lounge, Jack was a chatty patty. Jack was a chatty patty talking about, oh my God, this is Ciara and Faye and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I love yous in the pods right away. Jack was giving me, my very rambunctious teenager. What were your thoughts on Jack and Faye Munda's Girly?
Yeah, I thought he was extremely hyperactive. So before he mentioned he even had ADHD, I thought, yes, he has ADHD, because he just looked very restless and he couldn't kind of calm himself down. And it didn't look like he was on anything. But I will say, and this might be controversial, but he came across to me as a slight alcoholic. Ooh. Because he was really into the drink. And it was a bit much, really. It's kind of, and also, when it came to Faye, I saw, I suppose, a bit of my past self in her, because, I've been with men that are very horrible. And when you meet somebody who's not horrible, you can make the mistake of thinking, he's not horrible, let me go here. And just because someone is not horrible, lads, it doesn't mean they're good either. Like she had her head too far in the clouds for me. Like, come back, love. He may not be, for you. He's not even really all that serious. And I saw online somebody from, well, it just randomly came up on Instagram. Somebody from Cornwall who happened to know him said he works at a cafe making like an English breakfast. So he's not like the kind of huge chef that he was making himself out to be. He can cook a good breakfast, apparently.
Okay. And y'all, just so y'all know, Moondas Girly is from Ireland. Okay.
Yes.
So she is our UK connection. She has been a member here around these parts
Oh, yeah.
for quite a while. I think Faye and Jack are quite similar, especially doing the worm on the daggone floor. When I saw that with her in her wedding dress, and girl, that's your wedding dress, you could do what you want. But I'm like, they were at the Stag and Hindu, and they were doing the same thing. I said, they have edited Faye where we have not seen the side of Faye that is just like Jack.
Yeah. And I suppose, like, no offense to her, but if I had her body, and this is just me, I might want to dress a little bit better, because I thought, like, no, to be honest, she looked fabulous. I mean, her boobs are great. Like, no one can say they're not. But when I'm getting married, I want to look like, so all the attention is on me, not my girls. My girls are fine, but the wedding is about me, not my cleave, I thought at one point, like, she was going to fall out of her dress. I was like, why would you wear that? Like, and I think when they were trying on the dress, her mom was trying to say to her, maybe not, without saying, hey girl, put your boobs away. I don't think her mom wanted to be as blunt as I would have been. So her mom was like, yeah, maybe not. But even the dress she chose, like, you can still show off a bit without it being your boobs don't need to be your personality. You can have a personality as well.
Ooh, this girly came out swinging. I know I'm not going to ask you about the fashion sense, Trey, but since you like Trey, you like to post your food and all that you cook. And though you do not call yourself a chef, and you post it on Instagram regularly, what are your thoughts on Jack and all of this? And did you know about when he said drizzling the honey from a higher height gets it to, a whole lot of oxygen before it gets down to the plate?
That is true, actually. That part was actually true. So I was like, oh, okay. Jack does cook something. So, first off, hey, Moon Dust, how are you? I just love hearing your voice. It's just like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
just draws you in. Oh, yeah, okay. Talk more. But, okay, Jack. The more the season went on, the more I like Jack, and I know I shouldn't. That's my takeaway from it. I should not like Jack because I know who he is. Not saying he's a bad guy. Far from it, actually.
He's a mess.
He needs a label handled with care. But also, when he does get his proverbial ish together, he'll actually be a decent guy. And maybe even a decent husband. But he got to get his ish together first. Because he still comes off like a child from time to time. I'm like, Jack, come on. Grow up, just grow up just a scooch. Now, I ain't saying much, just a scooch. And he'll be fine. But, yeah. I quickly realized, of course, even way back in the pods that, I think Jack has a little bit of ADHD, the way he was speaking and talking. I was like, okay, yeah, Jack has to be engaged or his mind would just go off on tangents on his own. He has to be. And when it goes off on tangents, we'll get there, but that's when things start to happen. You start to question Jack more. But as long as his mind is occupied with something, and he can focus in on it, good to go. Faye? I like Faye. Actually, as the season went on, I like Faye more and more. I did question, and I do this with every good-looking person that comes on a show like this. Why are you here? Like why are you? And we usually find out. we usually find out maybe some character flaws, which with some other couple people you talk about. I'm like, okay, now I see why. But for Faye, I was like, all right, Faye, you come across just a little too normal for me to explain why you're here. But then I think Moon Dust said it perfectly. When you've been with trash after trash after trash, an empty wastebasket looks pretty good. But you still forgot that it's still a wastebasket. You get what I'm saying? It's still a wastebasket. And I'm not trying to say Jack is trash. He's trying to come from, I could tell Jack is trying to come from, let me see if you understand this euphemism. He's trying to go from the empty trash can, nothing's in it, so it's still kind of fresh, but it's still a trash can. Trash is meant to go there. Into the wastebasket in your office. He's trying to get to the wastebasket. The wastebasket usually only keep little paper and stuff like that, light stuff, nothing insinuous or insidious, unless you wrote something down on the paper that could flame you, but still. He's trying to go from trash can to wastebasket, and he's in the transition, but he's still a little bit of a trash can about him. Like, all right, Jack, ain't nothing in you, but yeah, you need to get it together. But Faye, you know why Faye like Jack? Jack brought out a part of her that she's been repressing and hiding herself. And she loves that about him. The fact that he can bring that out of her. A slight girlishness, a slight foolishness, a slight laughter. I think there was a lot more happening with them behind the scenes. I think they just try to show us kind of the drama of it all, which was the worst, but I think him and Faye probably get along great behind the scenes. That doesn't mean it's going to work long term, because other factors got to take into play, but I can see why she got attached to him mentally. And when she saw him, she was like, oh yeah, I can make this work. Yeah. And yeah, and you're right, Boo does. The girls was out. She was shooting all season. I couldn't help but look. I was like, Faye is nice. I must admit, Faye is nice.
I have to say the red flags with Faye, when things happened, like trying to find him, that find my friend, if he's missing, she can't find him. When she can't find him, she said she looked in the apartment. She went downstairs. She went around the building. She was just doing a lot and calling him. And I'm like, at a certain point for me, I stop. And I think Faye is holding on. And you're right, Trey. I did see a part where I feel like Faye was told by the trash men in her past that she was too much. And I feel like Jack allowed her to be too much and is just right for him. And I think he allowed her to just be, and he accepts her just being who she is. I mean, we all looking for that. And that's why I feel Jack is just him. I am who I am. This is how I am. This is who I am. Do you like me or not? If you don't, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not for everybody. And I think he gave Faye, or he came across like he gave Faye the same kind of basically oomph. Like, it's okay to just be you. If the person don't like you, that's on them. That's not about you not being worthy. And he does know when to turn it on and off. I would like to ask Jack more, because remember, Love is Blind Poland, we had someone with ADHD who went to therapy. He knew what to talk to his partner on how things to manage his ADHD. How does it work? That was Yasik. Here we have Jack. I didn't hear, and I wish we heard, how does Jack deal with his ADHD with a partner in his everyday life? How does all of that come into play, and how can he help his partner understand where he's coming from, where if he is going on a walk in slides all hours of the night, she will understand what that is about.
I think that's an important distinction to talk about. I don't think Jack is used to having partners positively deal with his ADHD. I think there's been a lot of rebuffs against it, or a lot of finger pointing towards it when something goes wrong. Because since you brought it up, that whole situation about finding my friend app, this and that, I saw it both ways in two different ways. I was like, wait a minute, okay. My first reaction, maybe it just did me being a guy, but my first reaction was, why are you trying? Wait a minute, y'all just met. Why are you tracking? Does everyone have this app? Is this a prerequisite for the show or something? What's this fixation on this app? Why you gotta know exactly where he is? Now, don't get me wrong. If you and your partner decide to share locations, something we want to do for each other for safety reasons or whatever reason you want to consider, fine. But the way it was brought up, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? But why are you trying to track his every movement? Have you done this in the past, Faye? I can see where some dudes might look at you like, all right, Faye, you a little too much. Hold on, what you doing? Wait a minute now. Relax. I just went to the store. That's all. I just went to the store.
You're right. I wonder if Jack has had to disappear to handle his ADHD away from a partner.
I don't think he wanted nobody to see it. I don't
Probably.
think he really wanted anyone to see it. Like, at least not like that. I don't think he really did want anyone to see that.
If you have to like track somebody or feel like you have to track somebody, that should really tell you all you need to know about yourself. You're quite clearly not healed. Now, to be honest, myself and my partner were laughing our heads off when her mom kept kind of saying, and he went in sliders. That was priceless, because I thought, not only is it really bizarre that he even picked sliders, that's just so implausible sounding. I don't know. I think, I don't know, did he go and meet somebody? Or what was he doing? I wasn't quite sure that he just went for a walk. Like, even if you didn't want somebody tracking you, wouldn't you leave a note in case the person woke up? Don't worry, I've just gone for a walk. I need to clear my head away from you. But, I'm just going for a walk. Like, why be worried? And then when he was at the wedding, I noticed as well, like, the way his mom spoke to him was very much like you would speak to a child. And she was very like, you have to do this now, and you have to be adult, and this is what this is. And I thought, is he really that ridiculous? We need to be speaking to him that way? I didn't get that myself now. Why she was talking to him like, was he chose to do this? Why would he not be aware of what it entailed?
And I'm not attributing this to everybody with ADHD, but as a mother who, my son is ADHD, he's also level 2 autistic. You have to speak to, I have been taught to speak to my son at a very simple vocabulary level, so it can be processed quickly, and so it can be absorbed and applied quickly. If you talk too far in abstract, our head might be in the clouds trying to figure out what you're trying to tell me. What are you really saying? So keep it clear, keep it concise, and keep it a little bit basic. I'm not saying this is for everybody with ADHD at all, but I felt a kindred spirit with his mom because, and my son is 19. I felt a kindred spirit because I had to learn to communicate in that manner. But I'm not saying that's with Jack, but I'm saying even so, if his mother knows that he's that's a way to draw him in and calm him down and have him hear what she's saying. Possibly.
Okay.
Now, I will also add, this is the part where I have to give Jack just a little bit of smoke and gotta talk about the other side of this. Even though I felt some type of way about Faye and then all the tracking and everything, I was like, okay, Faye, what you doing? I had to tell Jack, listen, speaking very simple terms, you just can't leave the house from your partner without at least telling them, hey, I'm going for a walk. Even if it leads to other questions, you have to show some consideration for your partner. Just simple as that. You're not by yourself anymore. You do have some responsibilities to that person and to yourself in this relationship. You have to open up that communication. You just can't roll out when you want to anymore. You know, and like you said, a simple, hey, I can't really sleep. You know, I'm just go for a little walk. And honestly, this is the only part that made it suspicious was when they did get into the app situation and it was turned off. Like, was it turned off? Was it not working properly from the get-go? I don't know.
Later, she said it was removed, or she was removed from the Find My Friend something, and I was like, Jack, did you not look at? Too, but did you not look at Jeremy?
Yeah, I would have took it off too, because what are we doing here? Like I said, unless it felt like I thought it was going to do this, but it felt like that's this specific app is a production thing. Like everyone is on this app, be on this app.
It could be like life. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly, but it sounds like it's Life 360. What we use here in the US, where you can have family and friends where you know and you track their location by their phone. As you know, it was said earlier, you know, this new generation sharing location is a way to show trust. I don't get it. No, but I want to. I don't get it either. You got to trust me and trust where I am. But this is a new relationship. We just had 10 days in a pod and 3 days on vacation. I still don't know you. So there has to be a level for everybody to over-explain. Jack should have told Faye before all of this, listen, when we get back to London, I clear my head by walking. I clear my head by doing this. I have dated someone who would go out driving at 1 a.m. to clear their head. But at least they know, hey, I'm heading out, or put a text or a note. I'm heading out. If I'm not back home by this time, you know, do a wellness check. But there needs to be an over-exaggeration of sharing because you don't know this person on a day-to-day. Ooh, we think Jacqueline. Jack had me thinking he went to go visit an ex-girlfriend. How far is Cornwall from London?
Oh, wow. This sounds like a ways.
It does sound like a ways.
There? You're going to walk there? Come on.
As far as I know, it's 2 hours away on the train, I think. Something like 2 to 2.5 hours, yeah.
So we could meet each other in a 1 hour train. Okay, yeah. We can meet each other halfway. Or maybe the ex moved to London. I don't know. We don't know. We're all guessing this is what's going on.
And that's the problem. Even though I may talk with these theories, I'm normally not a suspicious person. Because once you become a suspicious person, you're going to think shadows around the corner everywhere you go. And then you turn into that person that you don't want to be. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not stupid. My mama didn't raise no fool. I am observant. So I pay attention to what's going on around me. If I do see something that is a little weird, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to observe you a little more until I find some actual concrete evidence. Because when I come to you about it, trust and believe, I already know what the heck is going on. I'm just trying to see if you're going to tell me the truth.
Lil Shine is from the UK and said it's very far. It's 3 hours train journey and thinks that he phoned an ex that day. Here's the thing. For me, here's where I got suspicious with Jack. When he said, if we going to be checking phones from here on out, it's a negatory for me. When you start getting defensive like that, I was like, Jack, what's in the phone? Pull out the phone, Jack. What's in that phone? Because you acting up, and all she wanted to do is show concern as to where you were. Well, show me that phone, Jack. I don't care whether you leave or not.
Never check. This is going to come back up again. in this live, but never check the phone because either way you cut it, you either gonna find something you didn't want to find, because it always happens, or you're not gonna find something, and now we're looking at you sideways and crazy.
If I'm as
Either
insecure
way,
as Faye is, though, I'm going to be looking for reasons to find him guilty because in the back of my head, I know,
of
okay, I
course,
always think it's going well. I'm always cheated on. Let me nip this in the bud. Let's look at the phone right now. And he does not help himself by saying, hey, this is going to be
Joe does.
negatory and trying to flip it on her like she's the negative one and she's the problem. Made you walked out and went for like a 2-hour walk, yet she's the problem. You didn't
See,
even have the courtesy to tell her where you were going. Think again.
here's the issue with all of this. You could be, you could, right there is actual enough for most people to be like, you know what? I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to pull out early.
Yeah, he's out.
Deuces. But see, this is where it flips to the other side. You still decided to stay after all of that. Okay? I'm gonna have to look at you a bit less and start looking at Faye a bit more. Like, hey, you decided to stay.
She wants to trust him.
But she can't trust him because she's been cheated on so much. And if I was her and I knew that I was going to be that hysterical in the back of my head the whole time, I'd save myself the hassle, break my own heart, and leave the guy. Because it's not healthy for me if I was her. Like, it's not healthy to be in that scenario where you're constantly questioning all the time, why did they go there? Why were they wearing sliders? Why was it a walk? All this kind of stuff. If you have to ask that many questions, that to me is your answer. You don't need to be asking that many questions of, all the time. Where did you go? Why did you go there? It gets exhausting, I imagine. If you have to constantly be thinking, where are they now? What are they doing now? Are they thinking of me?
Along with that, to go to Africa's comment, yes, she should be concerned that he's restless, impulsive, but he should already know to tell his partner, hey, I do get restless. I do get impulsive. This is a pressure cooker situation. I am going to need to walk, clear my head more regular than the average person.
I did find it strange, though, that all of this started immediately after that mitzvah/birthday party when he met the parents sooner than he expected. I thought it was very strange that all of a sudden that's when everything happened. And if you look at it, well, it could lead to this. How I looked at it was, okay, everything up until that point was laid out and planned to a certain extent. He knew what was coming. The parents showing up was outside of the laid plan that was supposed to happen. Almost like it was too much for his mind to compute. Whoa, I was preparing for this to happen tomorrow, not today. Now all of a sudden he said, oh, now I gotta be, I'm very nervous now. Now I gotta be parents, I gotta meet them, say the right thing, this and that third, almost like he was overloaded. Not trying to give an excuse for anything.
Did he do that in Greece though?
No, let's just say up until that point, even in time in Greece, everything's planned out. You go to the Paj, you find someone, you try to build a connection with that person, you propose, you meet, then you go to Greece, you try to build an even deeper connection, get to know those couples. It's still planned out.
Trey, he had a pressure cooker situation in Greece called Ciara.
Oh, we'll get to that. But
we will get to that,
yeah.
But that was pressure cooker because then she tried to nitpick at him. I ain't hear that he been walking the entire island in Greece.
You know why? To me, that really wasn't pressure. That was a procurement. This is peculiar, the way she's acting. Why is she acting like this? if you notice the way he was, even when he was talking to Joseph about it, like it was more of a question than like, I don't understand why this is happening. We're not together. I've moved on. She's with AJ. I'm with Faye. I don't get this. It was more questioning. He didn't get it. It was like, couldn't process. Like, why is this happening? What's going on here? Yeah, maybe we need to talk. Okay, this is not going anywhere. Whatever.
So let's wrap them up. Tomorrow is the reunion. And not only is it the reunion, there is I'm going to be watching the reunion live with y'all. I believe it's at 4 p.m. EST. So I'll be live watching it with you guys, and probably the following Saturday we'll do a reunion live for after the fact. Because we also have maths at 6 p.m. Do y'all think Jack and Faye are still married come tomorrow at the reunion? Trey, what do you think?
No. And I'm actually a little sad to say it. Like I said before, I think Jack could be somewhat decent if he get himself together, but he's not together. So he's going to do certain things that's going to get his behind in trouble with Faye. And she will finally call it, as say, so that's how I can see how it could be happening. Yeah. It'd be interesting if something else happened, and and Faye out here wilding, but I doubt that.
Yeah, I tend to, but I hope Jack becomes like, again, Love is Blind Poland Yasik, who is aware of his ADHD. I'm hoping he has that knowledge and becomes more aware of it and can be more settled. But Munda's girly, do you think Faye and Jack are still married?
I don't think so. And I think she will have realized she took on far more than she could handle, probably to prove to herself, I can do this. I can find someone who will love me, who will stay with me. I can ignore all the waving red flags because they're not extreme in my book. And I think basically, like, once the cameras go away, she's going to realize pretty quickly, actually, this isn't all as easy as it looked. Maybe his ADHD is worse when the cameras are not there. How does he handle it in that circumstance? And I don't think she'll be able to cope. There's only so much kind of, for lack of the right phrase to use, there's only so much kind of talking to someone like their child that someone would have the patience to cope with. At some point, you're going to have to understand things, and I don't think he's going to get there. And she, as I said, will have to just learn to get her head out of the clouds. And I think this will be the thing that tips her over the edge. She'll realize after this is what I wanted. Oh dear, I'm stuck with this. Now I have no out. This is not a relationship. This is a marriage. And that's very different. And I think she will learn how different that is.
And also, it can become exhausting for Jack to always have to prove to her that he is trustworthy. Yep. That's another hill to climb. But I agree. I have high hopes for them. I don't see it actually working, but there could be some adjustment there. A lot of heavy lifting by Jack. To us, what we saw in this edited, produced show, I could see it working, but I'm not sure if they are going to work.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. Trey, who would you like to talk about next? Are you talking?
My bad. I said, let's get to it. Let's talk about AJ and Ciara.
AJ and Ciara. Let's start off. Ciara says that there's a 300-pound minimum to take her on a date. Minimum to be spent taking her on a date. You need to be high in your finances. You need to, the biggest first date, she went to F1 racing. Ciara, why are we here at the pods? All these things did not equate to you getting a ring or getting married. Why are we here in the pods asking for a man across the way? And now here's AJ who's saying, I ain't got it. I was in finance. I had to leave my job to be here. And even so, I ain't trying to go back there. I want to go and own a gym. Nothing wrong with him wanting to own a gym. Nothing wrong with him wanting to be a Pilates instructor. But it's giving me flashbacks of Cal from season 2. And it shouldn't, but it is. And all I can say is, daggone it, AJ. I wanted to like you, but please don't give me Cal in this whole experience. Since you picked them, Trey, what do you have to say about these two?
Be totally honest up front. I did not like Kiara, fake Sierra, from the moment she popped up on screen, and that was before she started talking. Maybe I've worked very hard to curate a sixth sense about people. That's how I keep a lot of bull crap out of my life. You know what I'm saying? And when she popped up, I just smelt it coming off of her through my television. I went, something's off about this one. Immediately, something's off about this one. And then she started talking, and I was like, oh, heck no. What? Now, she's not dumb. I have to give her that. She knows how to play the game to a certain extent. Okay? I have to give her that. Give her some credit. Because she didn't tell this whole $300 minimum and all this to the men. She told it to the women in the pods. Why did she tell them? 2 reasons. Number one, to stun on them. Okay? She was trying to stunt on the other women. All right? let that be clear. She was trying to stunt on them hoes. Yeah, okay? That's number one. I'm just saying. And the second reason, her delusional arrogance. Because let's keep it all the way real, okay? I can almost guarantee you this $300 date minimum, and I once had a guy that spent $1,500 on me on a date. It's one and the same guy. I can almost guarantee you. They are one and the same. I'm going to use air quotations. She got lucky and happened to get on a date with a baller, which she better. Probably went on a few dates, and each date he spent over $300. So now all of a sudden, she has made this her new standard. Just because this one guy did it for her. I'm sorry. If you're going to make this a certain standard, you're going to have to need more than one guy to set the standard, number one. And number two, never set a standard for yourself that you yourself can't keep up. And I'm being for real for that. Never set a standard for others or yourself that you yourself can't keep up. Because you're going to look crazy out here, I'm telling you. But the moment she said that to those girls, and some of the girls caught on to it quickly, was like, oh, okay, I see what type of chick she is. Some of them was like trying to eat it up a little bit. Like, I was like, don't do that. Don't fall for her bull crap. Okay? Because she actually trying to etch you out without you even realizing. Because if she can get you talking this way, that means you're going to carry that same energy into the dates with all of these men, which I suspect some of them did, and they're going to etch you out. That only helps her out because she didn't carry that. She didn't all the way carry that energy in the dates with those men. She carried the energy of, yes, I do have a high standard for myself. And if you notice when she was talking to the men, out of Jack, Ajay, and some of the others she had dates with, she never said anything past that she couldn't do for herself. That's why I went, aha. Now I see your game. But she was also trying her very best to hide her arrogance from them as well. She did doing a pretty good job. Because poor AJ didn't catch on to it till he was in a relationship with her. He was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. And then she had to backtrack real quick. Woo! But this is also a very vindictive girl. She is not your friend. Okay? She's not your friend. I'm even questioning the friends she does have, because they know what she's like. If you caught on with how they were talking to, they know exactly what she's like. They was even trying to check her a little bit. Like, hey, hold on, don't do too much, because this seemed like a good one. You don't want to mess this up, because you ain't gonna get too many opportunities like that. That means you wouldn't catch too many opportunities out in the real world. Even if you look good, because she's an attractive woman. Let's keep it real. But attraction is only on half the battle. Your attitude is stank. And when dudes get a whiff of that, they flee. Like, and she almost made AJ flee for a second.
Well, he did flee overnight, but so with her attitude, when she wanted to go at Jack for saying she's boring, that was one thing that had got her hackles up. But also when Jack went straight to AJ in front of her, that's the other thing. Jack does stuff in front of everybody. Nobody got to question it. But then here comes Jack. She does it in whispers. Oh, I want to, I'm looking out for Fran. Joseph, I'm looking at, she doing it whispers around everybody else but Fran. Jack came, and when Jack and AJ and Jack said, hey, I heard you felt some kind of way. I want to apologize. I want there to be no hard feelings. The look on her face when AJ shook Jack's hand and said, we cool? She wants to stir up mess from what we saw. And AJ is not a mess stirrer. Not at all. Moondust Girly, what do you think about these two?
If I have to lead with how much money somebody has spent for me on a date, I clearly have absolutely nothing to offer. Because why am I going to just come with, well, this person afforded this? There's a reason that you're on your own, ma'am. And there's a reason why you're on this show. You may want to take a look in the damn mirror. Beauty is only part of it. Your personality should have been in the bin. What kind of woman actually genuinely goes out with a head as big as hers ego-wise? Well, he spent that much money. Good for him. Where is he now? Because I don't see him by your side anymore. That clearly didn't work for you. Try something different. And just wanting to cause trouble and stir trouble and getting upset because Jack said she was boring. Well, to him, she probably was boring. If I spend all my time talking about all the great things somebody has done for me, and I'm very high maintenance and I'm very obsessed with myself to the point that sometimes I forget someone else is even there, they're going to find you boring, because what do you bring to anything? You're like a dead fish. You don't bring anything. You might look nice, like the lights are on, but sometimes it comes across that no one has ever been at home. Because what are you doing? What are we doing? And then as Trey said, when, Jack comes to AJ and he's having the conversation and he says, look, I'm sorry I heard you felt bad. She had a face like a slapped arse, because it's like, why is he saying that for? Why is he saying that for? It's really silly. And to be honest, now this may probably just be me, but AJ is extremely handsome. And I found I got very distracted by that. However, at one point I thought, yeah, okay, you are divine, but seriously, how much are you going to continue to take of this nonsense? There comes a point when, okay, as lovely and as great as you are, I thought he was one of the most well-rounded men there. However, there's only so much nonsense that somebody can continue to take. And I felt very conflicted about Ciara, because she would do something awful, admit to doing the awful thing, and then turn around and do something really great, such as the Diwali celebration, which is really important. And it threw me. And then I thought afterwards, yeah, you're unstable, Ciara. I can't judge you. You're totally unstable. You're going to do the wrong thing. You're going to call yourself a jackass, essentially, and say, yeah, I did the wrong thing. But I've also done this great thing for you. And it leaves him in a state of, where do I go now? What do I feel? How do I proceed? Because you're going to F up in some way. And then you're going to do this epic thing. And he was quite an emotional person. Now, I don't mind a man that's an emotional person. I think, a lot more men should be emotional. It's actually healthy to express emotion. Now, it's unhealthy when it's too much, because then sometimes you're kind of like, okay, you're being a bit maybe too effeminate or something, like relax. We want you to express emotion, but not kind of sob, hysterically the whole time. But I thought it was good that he was able to express emotion. And you didn't really get much from her. Oh yeah, yeah, Tracy, you keep doing that, and you'll have all the ladies after you, showing all that emotion. They'll be like, "Hey Trey, hey girl, how's it going?" But like you have to be a bit more realistic. And I feel like he kind of thought like, "Oh, she's so great, and I'm just so amazing, and I've done this experience. My parents didn't meet this way. They were arranged. Like I'm so different, and this is very cool." And I think he basically, when he asked her about like, "Look, I can't do the whole finances thing. How are you going to take that?" And she was kind of saying, "Oh, that doesn't matter to me." And I'm like, "Well, that's not what you were saying in the past. You were telling everybody you could possibly find that it absolutely matters to you." And like he put on Instagram, he's working towards actually getting his fitness thing now. But he actually always worked in a shop, some kind of shop, but they didn't put that on Netflix for some reason. He didn't understand why. Like he was a banker, but he was working in a shop as well. So I don't know. But like it's just not, I just don't think they can really be all that compatible, because Kira has she just wants to spread a lot of trouble and cause a lot of drama. And at the end of the day, like she is the common denominator. When there's problems, she's always there. And half the time, it's like, what are you doing there? You're not even remotely close to involved in this situation, yet you're in it. When they had that conversation with them, I believe it was like Chevanique and Joseph, and she was there having this, and Francesca came over like a giant hothead, kind of, what are you doing and what are you saying? Which I didn't think was necessary, but we'll get to that later. But like she was very involved in that, and it's like, why are you involved in everybody's scenario? Like she wasn't remotely close to interested in Joseph. What is she even doing there? Unless she was now, and they didn't show that. I
No,
mean,
she
yeah,
was she
I
was
do agree with
there. She was there to get at Joseph. Remember in Greece, because Joseph asked, "Well, what is your problem with Jack? You're not with him. Just leave it alone." She went digging into Joseph and Francesca's relationship because she can't stand Joseph now for sticking up for
And
Jack.
what's wrong with Joseph asking that question anyway? He was only asking what Jack did. Like, there's no need to jump down his throat. He may
That's
have
why I
just been
said she
curious.
was vindictive. That's why I said earlier
Yeah,
she has the vindictive personality. If she
nasty.
doesn't get her way, she's going to start lashing out, even passive aggressively lashing out. She'll go behind your back and use a proxy to try and ruin the situation. That's why I think she's so dangerous. Like I'm looking at her friends. Y'all friends with her? Or do y'all do some of the same things? I'm looking at the whole group suspect like. But I was
AJ
going
is
to
too
use.
fine for her.
Now, hold on.
He's too good
Now
looking for her. He needs someone else.
I have to talk about AJ for a second, okay? Because y'all putting a lot of dip on the chip. Hold on.
Oh no, no,
You
no, no.
stated,
We're not
no,
lying.
no, no,
There's a
no.
lot of dip. There's a lot of
Yeah, I
dip.
get it.
Good
But hold
looking
on.
dip.
Should ask what type of dip is that? Because let me tell you
I don't
something.
care.
Just I understand, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't at least give you the warning. Okay, you have to be a little careful with men like AJ. Okay, here's why. It told me a lot, especially in the men's pies, when AJ found out that Jack was the other guy that fake Sierra, was talking to. Okay, if you notice, he visibly got a little upset because he immediately was comparing himself to Jack, and immediately the calculation was, I'm better than him. This is what I said. I'm better than him. How could you talk to me and yet talk to him as well? This doesn't compute. And he let some of that insecurity come out to Kiera basically forcing her. He actually forced her to be like, hey, you're going to have to make a choice. Either him or me. What's it going to be? All right? So, oh, it's one thing. Okay, everybody, here's a piece of advice. For real, for real. It's one thing to be better. It's another thing to say that you're better. It looks very differently. When you start running around here telling people I am better than you, whoa, watch out for that person. Okay? Because here's the funny thing. And I think to go to Africa instead, there's a comment beforehand. She said something. I was going to get into it. It was a comment before that. I was going to get into it. If you noticed, and Kiara's playing this game, so I can't poo-poo against it. If you notice, he was softly making her submissive to the way he wants things done and how it's going to go. He was softly doing it. Not going to argue with it because he was doing it in the guise of setting boundaries. But the problem was he set these boundaries after the fact. Ciara told him in the past what she expect, this and that and third, and her expectations. He didn't say anything of the fact that he couldn't live up to the expectations. He just said, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. He waited till afterwards. And he waited till, especially when she was already acting her, showing her behind off to him, that gave him ammunition to use other points that he didn't like to win an argument.
I just didn't like how she spoke to him.
Oh, she was wrong.
I don't like how, how do you not know how to hang the laundry? How do you not? It was just how she spoke to him. I was not feeling it. And it gave me a pendulum swing of emotions. Like, it could have grated his nerves. We don't know. And then all of a sudden she'd do something really sweet. And then all of a sudden she'll do something real harsh and then real sweet. It was like a slap and then I rub you where I slapped you. It was just
manic.
Much. It was for me.
It was crazy.
But y'all realize we never met her family.
No, but maybe her family.
Not to the wedding. Not to the wedding. We finally, I think the dress when we finally met her mom.
Right. We did not see AJ meeting her family. And that to me is, even though they're dropping 8 episodes, I think we need to see everybody's family meeting because there's some other people whose family we also did not meet. And for her, if it's not in person, we could at least have a phone call.
And the fact that she didn't appear to understand how to do chores is also quite problematic. I wonder, have her family coddled her a lot? Have they done everything for her? She seemed to have no idea what to do or just expect everything to be done for her. That's toxic.
No, I think this is a personality trait that she has curated for herself over the past years or so. I think this is who she's turned herself into. Because like she said, if her hair color ain't even real, this is not real. This is what she's turned herself into. She has made herself into this person. And that's a facade she's trying to put out.
She's not real.
The only reason why, and I do like AJ, the only reason why I pushed back against him just a little bit, I saw some microaggressions that he was using against her to win arguments and get his way. That whole argument that he was valid. Just keep it off rip. He was valid. He's having an issue with his parents, understandable one. They don't want to be filmed like that. Now he has to deal with that. I get it. He tries to talk to her about it. It seems like she's one of those people. If it is not her way, if it's not done her way, if it's not going her way, she lashes out against it. Her way or the highway. Okay? But she actually likes AJ. But her first reaction was probably to lash out against him. He's looking like, hold on, who you talking to? Wait a minute. Then she realized, oh snap, wait a minute, I haven't secured the paw yet. What am I doing? But she didn't realize that till after the dinner conversation that they had. And she got nasty with him. They got into it. Now this is the part I'm bringing in. Okay. AJ chose this moment Even though they was arguing about what started with the parents in this situation, he chose this moment to bring up a different situation to use against her. She was already on the back foot. He goes, you know what? And about dinner, I hope you're not expecting me to keep having these $300 dinners, this, that, third. I said, ah, ha, 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 ha. I see what you're doing, AJ. Because honestly, this should have been brought up way in the pods because you knew that wasn't gonna fly. He knew it wasn't gonna fly the moment she said it. But he waited to now to say it. All I'm saying is I like AJ, but be careful. He will manipulate you softly into his flight pattern.
We don't
And if
mind a
that's not
soft.
the point,
We don't mind a soft manipulation.
AJ is
oh,
delicious. It doesn't
now
matter.
I'm about to
Manipulate
talk
us
some
all.
trash. I'm about to talk some trash. Forgive me. You're right, Elsie. Most women don't. That's why that's why I've been so successful in my life. I do always try to do things softly. Okay. All I'm saying is you got to be careful when it could be borderline malicious. And I saw AJ being borderline,
Oh.
not really crossing it, but I was like,
We understand.
that ain't gonna be the last time.
We understand AJ has Jedi mind tricks, and we don't
Oh no,
mind the
that
Jedi
ain't
mind
mind
tricks.
tricks. It's just pretty
Looking
privilege.
whatever, pretty privilege, handsome privilege. AJ gets a lot of privilege.
It works though.
It
Yes,
works. It
that's
works.
only gonna last me so long though. Because Sierra's the type of person, she's willing to play this little game, but how long is she gonna play before she starts going off at the mouth at a game?
Yeah, she'll buck against it, and the average person may buck against it, but also the average person is not going to be chastising him about how he hangs the laundry.
Yeah, that was pedantic.
He is
Yeah,
so pretty that some of us may just look at him and like, you know what, however you do it, sweetie, it's going to dry anyway. That's okay.
Way to call me out.
that is
That's
so
what I'd be
funny.
doing. Do what you want. Oh yeah.
That is so funny.
It is
I'm
funny.
glad. I'm glad. I'm glad we have women that can admit to that. Yeah, yes, your pretty privilege or handsome privilege can get you a long way, even abuse at times, emotional abuse. I ain't gonna physical
Some
abuse.
of us
That's not
have
bad.
lives. Some of us
Yeah,
don't
some of
whine
us have
every time
lives.
someone does something.
Yeah. So these two did get married. They did say yes to the altar. I was as shocked as his dad was shocked. His dad, y'all were wrong.
I think his dad clocked it. I think his dad clocked her.
Yes, he did. And his dad was like, I like his dad and his mom, that we
Me
met. Do y'all think, Moondust Girly, is AJ and Ciara still together?
I don't think so. And to be honest, I don't think they should be because she has a lot of issues with finances herself. And it made me think, was she very insecure about her own finances? Maybe. And is that why she looked to everyone else? Well, he took me on a date and it cost so many thousands of pounds, and this makes me the better person. I'm better than you because this person cared enough to spend that much money on me. A fool and his money are quickly parted. Money is only part of the issue, and I think I think AJ settled. I do believe he wanted to settle. I think some men want to lie to themselves. Yeah, AJ needs to be with all of us. Let's not lie. I mean, he's gorgeous. But he wanted to believe that she could be the better person he saw. I mean, we saw how he was when she did the whole Diwali thing. And he thought, wow, no one's ever done that for me. Maybe this is a sign that she could be a better person. It never entered his head that she might have been manipulating him in that moment. I know if
Right.
I do this amazing thing, he'll ignore all the bad stuff I've done before because this is unreal to him.
Yes.
I'm playing him that way. See, it works both ways. And I don't think they should be together. They're toxic people. It doesn't work. She has too much expectation and she's too pedantic and it's my way or the highway. And at some point, he's gonna actually grow up here and say, you know what, take the highway and get out. because I don't want this nonsense.
Right.
Either I can do the chore the way I want or not at all.
Trey, what are your thoughts? Do you think they are still together, happily married a year later?
First thought is, if there's any other fellas in here, listen. If you look good enough, you could be like Jonas in the Polygamous if you're AJ. They with it real quick.
No, we never said he could be like that. Do not bring Jonas up. We're just saying that he can hang the laundry however he would like. We never said he could hang us out to dry. Okay? We didn't say that.
Hey, is that's what it's gonna lead to? Y'all keep talking like this. I'm like, wait a minute now. Hold on. Where did all the sense go? It just went out the window.
Trey, stop it. You know, don't let it, because AJ is prettier than you, get to you, okay? Okay, stop it.
You funny, but he ain't got no game though. But anyway, are they still together? I don't think so, because he can't afford her, which is funny, because she can't afford herself, which is even funnier. And I do think what really would break them up is if she continues to speak in the manner that she was speaking to him from, for those few weeks, for at least those few days while they was in their shared apartment. If that continues, yeah, he ain't gonna go but so far with it before he's like, you know what? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's not gonna go but so far. Y'all, we have a few up, and we know who the main event is going to be. So let's tackle Jordan and Yasmin. I like Yasmin. Y'all know I have an interview with my girlfriend who does have vitiligo and has a vitiligo foundation here in the US. So Yasmin, special place in my heart. Jordan, I think he handled her quite gently, quite nicely. He did not say I love you for fluff. And then I'm thinking, why are we engaged and you don't love me? I side-eye that. Yasmin, I only side-eye her a little bit because, she is out here being very high ranking as one of the Miss Great Britons. And also she has modeling deals and all this. So I'm like, what is going on with how she views herself and the dating world views her versus how she is showing up and being seen as beautiful in the pageants and in modeling? So, I think Jordan did a disservice in saying that it's the distance, but here we are. This is one couple where she's like, it don't matter. I'm in nursing. I'm in medical. I can move where you are. And he was just, no, not really. I think Jordan was right. There was no spark, but I guess he did not want to be like Love is Blind Sweden and break up like at the reveal. But I don't know if it's at the reveal he was just not feeling anything. What is your thoughts, Munda's girly? And y'all, we have a few others, so we're gonna keep it as concise as we can for this one and the next one, definitely.
Yeah, I thought when they met, I thought it was okay. I figured, to be honest, he'd be quite shocked by the vitiligo, even though she said it was there. I think there's a difference between saying it's there and actually seeing it in person. That's quite different. And I guess for me, I felt like he didn't want to say he loved her and lead her on, which, to be honest, I thought was the right move. But I also thought that he didn't want to say he wasn't interested in her, because I got the impression he was terrified that everybody would come after him and say, oh, and it's because she had vitiligo. And I don't actually believe it was because she had vitiligo. I don't think he cared about the vitiligo. I just think he thought, you know what, we're actually not quite compatible. And I loved the conversation he had with his mom, where he was saying, I'm using the distance as an excuse. That's not really my problem. And she said, well, you know what, son, it's good that you told me that, but you have to go and be honest with her. And, I appreciated that he was honest with her. It's a good thing, so that the girl doesn't end up, with her head in the clouds, thinking everything is going great when really, he's not feeling it. I did find when she said to him, well, I'm, in the medical field, it doesn't matter where you are, I could move to you. I found that to be a little bit too accommodating, but that might be me. I just thought there should be more questions. Why is it you're having to go to him? Could he not come to you? Or could you not meet in the middle? It came across like she was always having to go to him. And if I'm thinking of the right person, I believe she had never like dated somebody or anything like that, which is really bizarre. Why am I going straight to marriage if I've never dated someone? You need some kind of experience somewhere. How are you going to know if someone is being toxic or not if you've never dated? You don't have that experience. You've never been with someone. You could think they're being great when really they're a piece of trash, or, likewise, but you have to have some experience, and she had none. Now, the fact that he knew she had none and still chose her doesn't say a lot about him, because I'm sure she mentioned to him she hadn't really been with anybody. And I'm not a guy, but if I was him as a man, I might feel very nervous about being somebody's first experience, because what if, I'm not what they think I should be? And what if they haven't expressed to me what they think I should be? What happens then if they don't tell me what they're looking for and I'm myself and it's not what they want? How do I handle that kind of rejection? And I think for a man, it's a lot of responsibility to be somebody's first anything, really. Trey can say more about that, I imagine. That's just what I thought.
Um, this couple actually saddens me a little bit because I do genuinely think that they're both good, genuine people, both of them. You know, this is just a situation where it wasn't going to work, unfortunately. And before I get into it, I had a platitude. You've heard me say this before for multiple reasons. I'm going to say it again. You never want to be a woman's first nice guy or good guy. Okay? It's a hard road to go down. Okay? Let alone her first actual serious relationship. Now, I made someone else was talking about this couple on Instagram, and I made a comment in the post, and I summed it up in 3 segments. And there's a reason why it doesn't work. It was 3 main points. Number 1 reasoning, the fact that he is her first serious relationship. That means he's going to have to do most of the emotional heavy lifting in this relationship. Okay, that's going to get exhausting and tiring, especially at this age that they're at. Okay, it just is. Oh, secondly, let's just keep it real here. I think Moon Dust, you're right. Her having vitiligo wasn't really the issue, but I'm gonna tell you what the issue really is. Don't want to step on toes here. He just was not as attracted to her as he thought he was going to be. There was some attraction there. You can see it because he likes her personality. He's vibing with her. They got along. He saw her. He was like, okay. I saw the calculation in his eye. He went, okay, yeah. We can do with this. As time went along, I saw him keep looking at her. He's like, yeah, I'm not, like you said, he softly and nicely tried to say this. He's not feeling the spark. Meaning, I think you're attractive. I'm just not attracted. That's what that means. Okay. It's a nice way to say it, but that's what that means. And the third one is tricky because he used it as his reasoning, and it was jacked up because actually it was the first 2. The third one was this location thing. It was long distance. Now let's keep it real. That's a real thing. Long distance can make or break a relationship. Okay? That's real. Now this is where I have to give Jordan just a tiny bit of smoke. I hate when dudes do this and when women do this. He made a statement in the pod saying that he was willing to relocate. He had no problem with that. He said it. And I keep saying this every time this comes up. Don't make statements like that if you're not willing to follow through on it. Because all of a sudden, we get outside the pies, and like I said, those first two instances is going through his mind. That made that third instance, oh yeah, this is a problem. Now it's a problem. You know, the fact that she was willing to quote unquote give up her life there just to move and be with him. I'm saying how I word this. I respect the fact that he at least said, "Hey, wait a minute, you're giving up a lot," because that's real. Like, whoa, you are willing to sacrifice and give up a lot, you know, for this relationship. I thought that should have been said because that's real. But the reasoning why he's saying it, baby, don't give this up. Don't give up your life for me because, you know, I actually don't want to have that responsibility of having that part of your life. I don't want this ain't going nowhere. I know it's not going anywhere. But those are the three main reasons why I knew this wasn't going to work. And it happened the moment. Well, it actually happened during the vacation. It happened during there. When they first met, everything was still okay. It happened on the vacation because some of her naiveness, how relationships go, was starting to show up in small doses. He's just sitting there like, okay, yeah, normally if you had at least one or two relationships, you wouldn't answer that the way you did, or you wouldn't say that the way you did. Also, I think what nailed it in the coffin for him, was going to bring this up again, was this phone situation. Now, this was done totally different, but it's still for the same reasoning. He was showing something to her in his phone, some pictures of family members, this and that third. She asked him while the phone was out, yeah, let me see what those DMs look like. Oh, okay. He showed her. There was nothing in there. Cool. Now, two things happened. The first one, which I'm gonna bring up her first. She went back. Was it in the confessional? If she was talking to one of the ladies, I forget which one, where she made the statement, yeah, I saw her look at DMs, there was nothing in there. Should I be concerned that there was nothing in the DMs? Like, why would you make a statement? Whoa, insecurity city. Okay, number one, you asked. Yeah. He's trying to show you something else. You asked to see what's in the DMs. Insecure city. Okay, number one. Number two, you didn't find anything, and you tried to make the fact that you didn't find anything an issue. Ask another girl, another lady, should that be an issue? Should I say something about that? Whoa, okay. Full stop. But the most important part was the second part. As soon as she said, hey, let me see what the DMs look like, he was willing to show it. I would have too. Like, ain't nothing in mind. So yeah, here, take a look. Okay. But the moment she did that, he discounted her. Period. This is why I said, yeah, his whole face changed. Right? His whole face demeanor changed. Right there, he took it as, oh, you can't trust me. If you cannot show a modicum of trust for me, how can I put trust in this relationship? Point blank. She didn't know that she doomed herself right then and there. Because before then, if you notice, he was teeter-tottering. He was doing a lot of teeter-tottering back and forth. But the moment that phone situation happened, all right, it's too much. It's too much.
Here's the thing. I did appreciate how Jordan ended things. I think he waited a little too long. He looked like he was suffering during the engagement party. But I think he came out of this, gently, in a way that the internet is not going to come after him or anything like that. I think, however production presented it and how he behaved, it certainly got him out of that very much gently. And to move on to the next one, who is not getting out of it as gently, as Jordan did. Did someone say mango? Did someone say mango? Because apparently Ryan is more interested in whether or not you want mango than he is in spending time with Cuba. Now, they have the similar lifestyles. They both want, to live off grid, raising their children, homeschooling, being one with the universe and the earth, which again, there is a place for that. And I thought they found that place with each other, but Ryan had work. And unfortunately, Ryan had family obligations. But Ryan was not in this with Cuba. And when he came back, he don't even want to talk to her. He needs to recharge. Sir, just say that you didn't want to be here anymore. This was not going to work for you. Or just say it's too much. But don't say, yeah, this ain't going to work for me. You want some mango? Lord. Moondust Girly, what do you think about Ryan? Didn't you name this the bacon shirt?
Yeah, that fool in his bloody bacon shirt. Some people deserve a high five in the face with a chair, and he is one of them. What in the hell is this guy doing? I heard somewhere else that the thing he was going to have conversations talking to people with was some multi-level marketing kind of pyramid scheme thing, and it doesn't surprise me. Now, to be honest, the pair of these I thought were like, well, this is the wrong word to use, but a little bit bizarre, or maybe just very interesting. I cannot get involved, I guess, with that kind of lifestyle because I don't actually understand it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just makes no sense to me. And how anybody could have thought this D-bag was in any way interested in her is insane to me. You're going to basically break up and say, you're not really feeling it. You come back from your trip. Usually you have a couple of days to wind down and you don't get that luxury here and all this kind of stuff. And then after you go and break with her, you're going to say like, oh, I'm having mango. Would you like mango? Sir, would you like to get your head out of your arse and get into the real situation? I swear, I wanted to hit that man with a mango after that. Like, seriously? And to be honest, not only that, but his grandmother had passed away as well. What was he even still doing there? Sir, shouldn't he have taken time out to be with his family? Like, nobody's head is going to be in the right space after you've lost someone and are expected to just continue. And I didn't get the feeling really that he was ever feeling this woman. I didn't think he liked her. I thought, to be honest, he was a bit like her, but she was like, he was here and she was way up here. And she loved it way more than he did. And to be honest, I think probably a bit like his job. He was trying to blag and say, oh, yeah, I think that's great too. And then realized, oh, she's really into this. Oh, I can't compete with this level of like tree hugging and, And when they did that dance on the beach, I do have to say I did laugh because it just looked bizarre. I was like, is this what you think compatibility looks like? I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah, him and his bacon shirt, the fact that he expected to be taken seriously at all is nearly even more funny than what he did. Like, really, sir? Like, who allowed this guy to come in a bacon shirt? Sir? Oh, no, I can't with this man. Ugh.
Well,
Ew! Get in the bin and live there. Yuck!
He was barely on our screen, but it definitely had an impact, and I'm sure that the mango sales are going down in the UK.
For good reason. Ugh.
Trey, what are your thoughts on Cuba and Ryan?
Analogy. They were the soft version of Chevanique. The soft from Maths. The soft version. Very soft. But the same things happen, just reversed. Same things happen. The problem is, number one, I do think they are on the same tree hugger level. I do think that. He does come across more of a hustler, though, probably from the nature of his job, which I'm not going to touch on that. Whatever's happened to that, that's whatever happened to that. It ain't my business, really. If people want to buying into that, whatever. That's their business. It happens every day. Hey, so I wouldn't look at the hustler, but look at the fools who brought into it. It is what it is. But I think the problem started to arise. Okay, I actually like Cuba. So when I say this, I do mean this in all respect. I'm not trying to come off disrespectful or something like that, but hear me out. I think in the beginning, I think you're right, Mudas, it started on that vacation. I think he sensed a little too much of desperation from her, and it started to turn him off. The reason why I worded it this way is because throughout this whole process, especially when she was by herself with the other ladies, I thought Cuba had a strong sense of character, had a strong sense of purpose, beautiful and sexy, highly opinionated with smart opinions. Usually, when she says something about somebody, I saw what she was seeing. Like, okay, this girl knows how to read people, good energy reader. Except when it came to him, all of a sudden, all of it went out the window. Her strong sense of character, her being a strong woman, it seemed like it disappeared. And that was puzzling to me. Especially towards the end here. It seemed like she wanted to make it work so bad. So bad. I'm like, oh my God. Here's some of the reasons why I said this. Okay. Now, I could think what I want to think about Ryan, but let's just take things at its face value. Up until a certain point, they seemed to be okay. Things were going fine. Like I said, I do think he was sensing a little bit of desperation from her, and that could be a turnoff. It was turning me off. I was like, oh, Cuba, who is this woman? I don't know this chick. But things were still okay. It didn't start messing up until he had to go off from work. Now he's away from you. Having distance with a lot of couples is a huge test for a lot of couples. Everybody's not built to have long distance relationships or of any type of distance, actually. Once he was away from her and he was just off doing his own thing, now he's off in his own head. He has time to actually sit back and think about everything that's going on with you, the lack of, around you, everything. Yeah, I kind of miss you, don't really need you. It's not almost the same thing like Jordan. The spark is not sparking. And they had sparks, but it was no longer sparking.
When did they have sparks? Because I didn't see it. Because when he saw her, I thought at the reveal he didn't like her. His face went all the way into her neck, and usually that's so you ain't got to look at the person.
No. He liked what he saw. I don't think there was an attraction issue. Here's the problem with men like this. Now, hear me out. With men like this, their cerebral aspect does come into play a lot more than just the physical. It does, especially with tree hugger. It does. It just does. I have a taste of this, so I have to speak on it here. What I think about you mentally, if it's not matching up what I think about you physically, I'm not feeling you like that. I'll be turned off real quick. If I'm sensing any type of weakness from you, I'm like, yeah, it's a turn off for me.
I think she just outmatched him with her at one with the universe. I think she outmatched him with that. And while he's out here trying to teach people how to also be one with the universe, I think he has not met a woman that outmatches him. And I think that's what, he can't BS her with the whole one with the universe. He can't.
I don't know if it's that.
Okay.
I can feel it and I can see it. The only reason why I kind of slightly disagree with it is when and there's a few times he could see this. When she was either away from Ryan or she's with other people, that's when the mysteries of the universe came out. And he seemed to be fine with that. You didn't
He
get
liked
that
to talk the talk, but couldn't walk the walk.
I don't know. What I hear what I'm saying is she was a different woman in his presence. She wasn't mistress of the universe in his presence. She just became a desperate hush puppy for his attention. And it became a turnoff. I'm telling you.
I can
If
see
you
that.
notice, in the past, she was talking a lot more women's strength. I'm a powerful woman, this and that third. He was drawn into that. He was like, okay, yeah. Oh man, we really lined up. Okay, cool. That's the type of woman I want. When they met up, and because he met her aesthetic to how what she wanted to a T, she turned it. I hate to use the word, let's just use it. She immediately turned into the submissive housewife, was ready to jump into that role. I don't think he wants that one.
He wants a hustler like himself.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think he wants that woman. She turned into that. Case in point. Outside of him, what advice did she give to Yasmin about Jordan? The advice she gave to her homegirl Francesca about Josh and the situation with him, she was straight. She was giving some harsh, like, nah, girl, you need to do this. If he ain't with this and that third, I was like, that's the Cuba in the past. But when she was with Ryan, it disappeared. I was like, hold on.
Because she thinks she has to be soft with her man. She ain't got to wrestle with him too.
There's not one time where Ryan made the inclination. Now, I'm not trying to cap him at all because I don't like him that much. But there's not one time Ryan get the inclination that he wanted something soft. Not once.
She probably thought she needed to do that to keep him. Because if
And
she
that's
took
her
off, he
mistake.
might get scared and run away.
Could
And
be.
that was her mistake. That just call it spade a spade. That was her mistake. I just noticed a complete difference when he came around or talking to him on the phone versus the advice she was giving. Good advice too. I can't pew at some of the things she was saying. It was
Her mistake was choosing him full stop. Don't choose someone like that. Ugh.
I can't. That's easy to say after the fact. In the moment, they matched up too well. I knew it was going to be a match. In the moment, I was like, no, they're going to find each other. They're going to match out. This is probably the reason why they purposely put them and say, oh yeah, this two, they're going to feel each other. And like I said, I did not notice a change until she started changing and showing up differently than how she said she was going to show up. That's when I noticed a change in him. And then by him always being away for something, one thing or another. Now the job thing, hey, you got to go work. That's going to be a test. You're still going through this change. She is totally different than the chick that she was at Pods. Then on top of that, his nana passed. That's hard. That's a difficult situation. I'm not going to downplay that. There's end of life in the family. Yeah. Because my first thought was, I wonder why he didn't take her with her. I was like, wait a minute, they only known each other a few weeks and you barely spent but a few days. Nah, she ain't going. That's crazy. Nah, I wouldn't bring her either. I barely know you. Even though we are technically engaged, whatever, I can't bring you to a bereavement. There's too much of that going on to now deal with this. Oh yeah, this is my fiance. That's too much.
I would have ended the experiment then.
Yeah, I would have been out.
When my grandma passed, but I would have talked to Cuba or whoever the partner is and say, listen, I really can't do this. I'm not in the headspace to do this and continue this. Guess what? Let's continue to see each other after this, maybe. But right now, the universe is saying this ain't the right time. I gotta go be with my family. Because I was like, dude, stop the filming. Stop the filming. Go home. Manage your grief. Be with your family. Because this right here, and I'm not even going to say grief is the reason why he cutting into that mango as he did. But the conversation,
He was checked
was
out.
wild. And then
And
he and Hoyne, he was already checked out.
it didn't help the fact that she was still trying to hang on to it, and that just made it even worse for him. Like, yo, why? You know this is ending. Why? Let's keep it real. It was soft begging.
It was gentle
soft
begging.
begging.
It was
I
gentle
was like,
begging.
girl. I was like, who is this woman? Because I was already kind of iffy on Ryan from everything that was happening, but when I realized how Cuba was showing up, I went, oh wait, I kind of see why he's acting the way he is. This is not the same woman he met. That's not the same woman he wanted to get with. Who is this chick? And then the very next scene when she with some of the homegirls, she's Superwoman again. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? This is weird. And I also agree with, to go after the comment, I slightly agree with that. The only problem is real life still happens. Like, yes, you're coming on the show, whatever, but I actually respect more that a person is still going to have their career. They're going to continue it. And also, if you have family issues like something like that come up, listen, go and deal with that. If we don't work, we just don't work. It is what it is. But I'm not going to force a person that's really dealing with some real family issues to tell them they got to stay in this process. God, it's honest at the end of the day. Family versus this process. Which one are you going to go with? Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Well, speaking of family versus this process, Taylor said, I will move, and I will move mountains. And I even have interviews lined up during this process to show how strong I am about you, Sophie, and I will move to where you are in Manchester. Now, Taylor, we know, lost his mom, and it's his dad, sister, and sister's kids. He is leaving his family unit to go be with Sophie. This man has picked up and said, hey, I'm gone. So are we having the same energy for Taylor, who made strides to apply for jobs and move to where Sophie is? Are we having the same energy for him that we had for Yasmin saying, why are you picking up your whole life with this person you barely know? Munda's girly?
Yeah, I definitely think, I think they're a very good couple. They're quite nice. I can't remember how old he was or how old he said he was when he lost his mom. But I thought might he have thought that this is what constitutes a good marriage? That the man has to make sacrifices in order for it to work, and that it must be the man who does this. I wasn't sure if that view was a bit antiquated or a bit old. I wasn't sure about that, but I found it impressive myself that he was saying to her family, I've already got job interviews lined up. You don't have to worry about me. Because I thought if that was my child, I would want to know that the person she had chosen was secure, and I would want to be sure that I could trust in her choice. Now, when they were getting married, I got the vibe from her father that he desperately wanted to trust in her choice but couldn't actually do that. And I feel like her father was just weird because he was very kind of like, I'm not for this bloody television moment. And then afterwards, he was like, oh, you're so beautiful and I'm so proud of you. And I didn't quite understand the flip flop for me. Either you feel one way and stay there and live in it, or feel another way and have that be what you feel. But don't do both. And to be honest, ambushing her like right before she gets married was really nasty work in my book. You're already going to be nervous enough about what you have to do. You don't need family members flying off the handle who have probably never said before that they don't feel so good about this. We didn't really, if I remember correctly, we didn't really get to hear a lot from her about what her family did think. I don't know if she had mentioned that. She might have. I may have missed it. But it was like, why was he not asking her, what does your family think? I would have.
We didn't see him meet the family till the wedding.
Yeah, that was also unusual. And as a man going in to get married to somebody, I would feel quite nervous. Why have I not met their family? And if I haven't met their family, how can I be sure I'd give a good impression? And that would add to the nerves of an already very nervous day. I'm nervous because I'm about to join this family. Are they going to be as nice as she is? She's got older brothers, or presumably. Will they be understandable? Will they want to be overprotective and annoying and fight me, or will we kind of be mature and get on? You can never tell how family members will react to things like that. It's just not always very clear. But I
Yeah,
did like them as a couple. I thought they were, very nice.
yeah, I liked them. I liked their journey. This is what I tune into Love is Blind to see. This
Me
type
too.
of journey. We didn't see much of them in the pods, but we certainly learned about them after the fact. And then their banter about, planning the wedding, their banter about, it wasn't so much of, she didn't even give the option that she would move to where he is. Taylor took the initiative and like,
Yeah, he did.
I'm moving where you are, and we're gonna make this work.
I did cringe though when they did the tour, and she appeared to know absolutely nothing about her own country. Like when he was kind of like, "And who's in charge right now?" And she was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh, come on, how do you not know?" Like I
Well,
know she's not from there, but like when they were going on that tour bus, I was like, "Wouldn't you know at least who's in charge of your country, like government wise, like the
well,
name of the person?"
she may not know because there have been changes, a lot of changes quickly. Nobody has stayed a long time, so I would give her that. But again, it isn't like the U.S. where the prime minister stays, the president stays for 4 years. There were changes in the prime minister, but
Yeah.
I get that. There's certain things people expect you to know about your own country, but I think
Although it
that
was cute, I will
it
say
was
that it
cute.
was
It
cute.
was also cute him trying to spell bruschetta.
That was cute too.
It's like,
I mean,
dude,
it's pronounced bruschetta, but the accent is really funny.
it was. It was. And she fell in love with that accent. Now, not as handsome as AJ, but Taylor is a handsome man.
He is handsome,
I
yeah.
definitely could see what Sophie sees with him and his personality too, commitment to family. I
Yeah.
can see this, and this is what I tune in for. Um,
I was
Frank,
shocked when he said he did not come from Essex. I expected him to say he came from Essex. I thought he was like, when he said, "No, that's not where I'm from," I was like, "Is that a lie?" Like, but maybe where he is from is quite near Essex, possibly.
possibly because of the accident.
Yeah.
Tell me so I could have Trey do it too. Do you think they're still married, Taylor and Sophie? Moondust Girly?
Oh, yeah, I'd be very surprised if they weren't still married. And if they weren't still married, it would have had to have been something absolutely major that broke them up because they both seemed so compatible and they both seemed willing to get on. And actually, I was on Instagram today and I can't remember their names, but there was another couple that actually got engaged, but the
Yes.
production didn't keep them. And
We
they
saw
had
it.
a
Yep.
highly turbulent year.
Yes,
Oh my God,
we're
like
gonna
this
talk about
couple,
them
yeah,
last. Yeah, we'll
yeah, you
talk about
should. Yeah,
them
they
last.
they definitely had a tough time. So if they were to break up, it would have to be over something major because they don't seem like the type of people to get, upset about the trivial things like others on the show.
Right, right.
They seem more genuine.
Trey, what do you see about this couple? And do you think they're still married?
Much concerns with this couple, except one thing, and I'm going back and forth on whether or not it should be a concern. And it loosely ties into the situation with her father. They get along. I think they do get along. But I'm gonna say something. I think the main reason why they've gotten along the way that they did was because Taylor is a lot more accommodating than Sophie is about things. He's the one doing a lot of the sacrifice and a lot of the accommodating to be with her. Which to me, I'm on the fence. It's not honestly on the surface of it, there's nothing wrong with it. If you really want to be that person, you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying, to be with that person. But I will say this: there is a such thing as being too accommodating. Okay, Where's your backbone into this? Where you going to stand up and stand on business on some things? So what's going on? And that kind of leads me to her father. I think her father and i.e. her brothers have had an issue with this from the moment she said she was coming on this show. I don't think this subject just popped up or she just now told or whatever. I think that he's had an issue with this from the moment he popped on this show. Because it's one of those situations. I'm gonna ask this question because we usually find out with each person that come on the show when I ask this question. Sophie, why are you here? Because you seen another one that seems almost like a Faye kind of thing. Same situation with Faye. You seem very well adjusted. Why are you here? I don't think you have any issues with getting attention from a man. Why are you here? And if you notice, that question really was never answered with Sophie this season. Because Taylor covered her a lot. He was so accommodating with everything that came up. There was never any really pushback on anything. He was just ready to, no, I'll do this. Oh, no, I got this. Okay, good. No, I'll just change this. She didn't have to really even voice a strong opinion that she might have. It's just, oh yeah, he's just willing. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. I'm happy. So that's the only reason why it gives me pause on them, even though I like them. Something. I think they can healthily handle conflict. Well, at least we'll put it this. I think Taylor can healthily handle conflict. I don't know if Sophie can. So what would happen when conflict does rise? How is Sophie really going to react in that? Which keeps bringing me back to her father. I think her father did not like this situation for a multitude of reasons. Okay? And most of them we can kind of understand if you was a real parent and your child told you, yeah, I'm going on this show.
Your only daughter.
Oh, what? Is you crazy? What? No, hold on. And then she bring home this guy. I do think they met Taylor. Okay? I think they met him. I think they're cool with him. Okay. It's kind of the same situation we're going to talk about from Francesca and Joseph. I think it's very similar. I think okay, he seems okay and cool, but we don't know him. And you barely know him. All of a sudden, he's willing to give up everything he's got going on in his life just to come over here and be married to you. We're not saying that it's not a bad thing to do. We just asking questions. Why is he so willing to just give everything up and run over here? Like, what type of man is this? As a father, he's going to ask that question. Just no. What type of man is this? Sir, what do you stand on? Are you going to lead and protect my daughter? How are you going to do that? Like, it's questions that it's not going to come off the best way on television, whatever, but it's questions that most men ask them. I've been asked those questions by fathers before, and it's a hard answer. Usually it's in private. And conversations between potential sons and fathers in private is a lot more contentious than we are led to believe half the time. It's, yeah. There's a lot of chest beating. There's a lot of pushing. You kind of got to stand up for yourself. And I don't know that why didn't they show us that meeting between Taylor? I know he met them. Why didn't they show us that meeting between Taylor and her father? Did it really go the way they think it went?
No, I think the father probably was on his best behavior. There wasn't much tension, and then it may have rised up with the wedding. I think if it was conflict, they would have shown us. They would have shown us the conflict and shown us, Taylor being real skittish. but they didn't show it till the wedding, because even their show production was talking to him, and he's like, "This is an experiment. This is an experiment. This is what y'all doing." Daddy was hot about this, and as he should be. This is his only daughter, and I wondered, Sophie, we don't know you. Sophie said she got 4 older brothers. Sophie is the youngest and the only girl. Did Sophie think that this is how she had to go about finding a husband, because they have been blocking her all of her life? Because can you imagine the offensive line that these men, as they should have to go through an offensive line, but there's protection and then there's, blocking everybody. Sophie may have felt that she had to go out there and find herself a husband and bring him home and then block them from saying no. That's what I felt with Sophie, with the dad and all that. And Sophie has a backbone. And as you said, how it shows up in conflict will be certainly interesting to see. But I thought Sophie was like, I need to get out of this. I love you, Dad. Love you, older brothers. But y'all are blocking me from finding happiness. Trey, do you think they're still married?
For some odd reason, I'm going to say no.
Oh, Trey's going against the rest of us. For some strange reason, it had to be. What?
Why? And only because this is crazy to say, because I do like easy relationships, but this one went way too smooth. Way too smooth. Even with the father thing at the wedding, it just went way too smooth. And I am a little worried when the ish hit the fan. How is it going to be happening? I don't know.
Oh, fresh take from Trey. Now, speaking about things hitting the fan, Joseph and Francesca is our last couple to cover. I'm not sure about this Amazing Grace song. It's usually a funeral song for me. I was like, is this a way of getting more people at the wedding by having the full choir? But here's the thing. Joseph out here in the pods asking for a godly woman and talking about bang, bang, bang with Chevanique. We are talking bang, bang, bang in the pods, and we want a demure and mindful woman. Joseph, you are confused. Then here Joseph is saying, I'm going to make Francesca my priority. Francesca is very demure and mindful. I think it's for the cameras, though. I think it's for the cameras we're demure and mindful. And yes, here he is. He picked Francesca. Francesca's my priority. Chevanique is like, well, let's give it one more again. Let's try one more again, please. Let's try one more again. And I was like, Chevanique, girl, you're begging. The man has stated who he has chosen, and now you want to change his mind. And come to find out at the engagement, you want to stir that up like it's something. Y'all had 10 days. You making it seem like Joseph wanted to talk to you after the experiment, trying to dust stuff up. I did not like that. That's the part I was like, are y'all okay? All of y'all were dating 15 people, and y'all had 10 days to do that. And you didn't say your part, Chevanique, that you asked him for that extra day. And he capitulated. Now, Joseph, I don't know. It's some there. I ain't quite think it's 100%. And I think her parents were right. Okay? I ain't going to go in on you, the fact that you're still living with your mother. We know London is expensive to live. But we don't need to see that savings account. Okay? We're going to need to see a plan for the future. That's what her parents said. There needs to be a plan. Where y'all going to live, what y'all going to do, a plan. And production, that whole blessing conversation should have happened behind the scenes, not in front of everyone there. And we missed seeing her meet Joseph's family. I absolutely adored Joseph and his groomsmen with his brother as one of his groomsmen having an emotional moment in the back. Absolutely beautiful. Loved it. Praying with his mother before. I think his mother was more nervous. I thought it was cold at first, but I think his mother was nervous in front of the cameras. Very close family, just like he is close. I wanted to see Francesca meet his family. And I think we lost out on seeing that footage because I think it did happen. So, Trey, what are your thoughts? Joseph, Francesca, the Chevanique of it all. For me, Chevanique is just a passing story.
Also, they're kind of all over the place with this couple. But the first thing, to be totally honest, I'm not gonna lie. The moment I saw Fran on my screen, I immediately wanted to slide the DMs. I said, "Woo, yes, that's yes. Let me be in the process right here, and I'm jumping in. Yes, all day. Get out of here, fool. I'm taking this." Nah, real quick. Choose my choice. I'm not gonna choose my choice as soon as she showed up on screen. The heck with the rest of them, okay, including Chevanique, and she's a beautiful woman. But nah, it was Fran for me. Here's where it gets interesting. Okay, them as a couple, honest opinion, I feel like this is a situation where both of them separately decided to go on this show just to see what happens. Oh, okay, this is something to do. It's a plan to do. I'm going to show up in a certain type of way what I want, but we'll see what happens. For both of them, Fran and Joseph, it felt like this was somewhat of a whim type thing. Okay? The fact that they found each other and that it was going somewhere or potentially going somewhere is a surprise for both of them. Did not expect to find someone, or at least find you in this process. Now we have a situation. Okay, what are we going to do? What is the plan here? Because we're looking at Joseph, you're the guy, so yeah, what's the plan here? But also, you notice Francesca really had a plan either. I.e., since she's a woman, if you notice, she really didn't have no expectations either. She's just trying to get married. And we'll see what happens after. Both of them in the same boat. Okay? Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Those pies, Chevanique, the role she played. The reason why Joseph was a little confused, to me, was completely understandable. Chevanique, to a certain extent, played the game well as well. She's a... I'm gonna say it. She's a black Sierra, fake Sierra, just not as extreme. Okay, just not as extreme, but somewhat on the same wavelength. Now, I'm not saying I didn't like Chevanique. That didn't happen until later on in those episodes when she tried to come back and all this bull crap. That's when I didn't like it. But in the moment, I knew Chevanique cut herself off. She cut her own self off at the knees in this process. Not only with Joseph, she did it with other men too, but mainly we have to talk about the relationship with Joseph. She led with her sexuality and nothing else. Okay, already it's going to get you pretty far, but in a situation like this, in a process like this, if you're dealing with people that has even the moniker of wanting something more, you're only going to get but so far. Joseph at least said, and at least acted on the sense of, no, I still want a little bit more. I still want a woman that's God-fearing, this, that, and third, intelligence. I want to have a conversation with her. I want to be emotionally connected to her. And if you notice, Fran was his choice from day one when he met Fran too. The only reason why Chevanique stayed on as long as she did was because she was piquing him sexually. That's it. And also, she was funny. They had live banter, laugh. She's a fun person to be around. I think she's cool as heck, probably to be around. But what I found interesting, this is where my eyebrows started to raise with Chevanique. She didn't take it. Well, she didn't get serious until Joseph made that comment on the second and last day. Hey, I think I'm gonna go with Fran and make her my priority. And he told her, yeah, we just didn't have enough time. We didn't just get deep enough. He was honest because they didn't. And everything stayed very surface with them. The moment he said that, that's when Chevy decided to open up their emotional floodgates and want to talk about some deep stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa. Chev, what's this? First of all, you're way too late. Number two, what? Whoa. It's giving manipulation. This is not honesty. Okay? Not even a little bit. And that's when I started to get turned off with Chev. Okay? At first I was like, yeah, she just led too much with her body. And, it is what it is. She just ain't going to win. Also, she started to get in competition with Fran in the ladies' lounge. And this is where Ciara comes into play. Because she was facilitating a lot of this in the background. Playing these chicks off with one another. Okay? She was doing this. That's what I said. Ciara is not your friend. But watch out for chicks like this. She's not your friend. Now, I have to give Fran a little bit of smoke, even though I was Fran, yes, please. She got with Joseph, so I didn't slide. I was like, you know what? Respect. I'm not gonna lie. I had my phone. I was watching at her and my phone. I was like, let me look this chick up. Ooh, oh, and I usually don't do this. I was looking up. I was like, oh, okay. No. It's on the show. I don't know what happened. She still could be with this guy. I was raised right, respectful. I just look from afar. Fall back. Let me calm myself down. But I have to give her a little bit of smoke. Because her insecurities was coming out hard in those pies. When she found out that Chev was her competition, direct competition. Because, number one, let's keep it real, she knew Chev was a threat because she looked good. Even though Joseph couldn't see her, she knew, Chev, pretty girl, she looked good. Number two, Chev had a greater level of confidence in those pods coming back talking to Joseph. Chev said things in a certain way that make Fran get off her stool and make her feel uncomfortable with herself without being confident that her relationship with Joseph was as strong as it was. Okay? So that told me Fran is not used to playing games like this.
She's not. And you saw when Chevanique, nobody wants your man. What you gonna do? Right across your forehead? Ooh,
she wanted him, okay? Yes, she wanted him and she wanted to win. She wanted to win and she wanted him.
She was pressed. Chevanique was pressed. Chevanique, girl, you may say you were impressed, but you were pressed in that moment. You got hot.
Yeah, she got hot, man. Listen. And Fran, to a certain extent, I understood where her insecurities is coming from because she catching the pressure from Chev. And I'm like, Chev, I liked it and I disliked it, but I liked it more. I like a woman who's authentically herself, but she ain't out here playing games like that. That just made Fran even more sexier to me. I respect Chev, but you play the game a little too well. I got to look at you a little sideways, like, whoa. So this is how you operate for real, in real life. You like to play games with people as well. And it turned up even more. And I got to say, poor Yasmin, coming back to her in this, got caught up in the drama of it all. How? First of all, Ciara went to Cuba because she felt some way about Joseph to sabotage his relationship with Fran. Didn't go to Fran. She went to Cuba because she knew Cuba and her was.
She was so concerned about Fran. I'm so
What?
concerned about Fran and their
Then you
relationship
should have
with
went to
Joseph.
her. Then you should have went to her.
I'm so
But you didn't.
concerned.
And then now, granted, Cuba did tell Fran, but if you saw the look they was giving each other, yeah, I think you're playing games out here. She told Joseph. Joseph had the same look Jack had. Why is she worried about this? I don't understand.
Well, I think Joseph's mind went off when he heard Ciara's name in the middle of it. His light
Yeah,
bulb is like, ooh, that's where it came from.
exactly.
Ciara, AJ, get your girl.
Hey, and then, but I tell you, AJ like to be careful with men like AJ. I told y'all earlier because he allowed his woman to do this. Yeah, I said it. He allowed his girl to do this. That means he kind of like this junk too. He kind of like it. Be careful. But then Ciara sets up a meeting out of nowhere with her and Yasmin. And then Chef shows up and they want to have a whole conversation about, oh, yeah, what happened those last days of the pods. Why? Yasmin looked like a deer in headlights, like, why am I here? Why? Wait, why is this happening?
She was being used to carry
Yes.
the message because they knew Yasmin wouldn't be seen as playing tricks and would go back to Fran and be a trusted source. They used the heck out of Yasmin.
And it all heads up at that mixer. Now, I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of people, and maybe I am biased because I like Francesca so much. Maybe I admit to that. But to me, I didn't see a problem how Francesca handled that whole situation because she could clearly see that these chicks were trying to play in her face.
Well, yeah, Chevanique was given the innuendo. Well, Joseph know what he said. He know what he told me. She's like, well, say it plain. Say it out in the open right here.
And you know why she said that? Because Joseph already told her what happened. She's trying to see if it's going to match up.
Yes.
Let's
But
match it up.
she won't check Joseph in public. She told him that I'll have your back in public, but you got to tell me right now.
Yeah. And then Ciara sitting off the side got all quiet and stuff. Like, no, you set this up. Come on in. Come in the conversation. You got something to say? And then Cher tried to throw it back. I don't know why you give me all this energy. Because you're coming in here and trying to make insinuations about me and my fiance. Speak the insinuations out.
I
What's
thought
up?
your relationship will be stronger than that by now. Girl,
Wow.
some
That
fighting words.
was a shot. That was a shot. What? Now, I ain't gonna lie. As a guy, I was looking to Joseph a little more like, hey, bro, you might need to put a stop to this because Fran looked like she ready to come across the table. Fran looked like she ready to come across the table.
Understood, but again, Joseph, I think, didn't want to be seen as arguing with the women.
Oh, of course.
Because you
Especially
heard
when
him. He was very much like, He very much was scoping and seeing Ciara and Chevanique for who they were.
He kept looking back at Ciara the whole time, like,
Yes.
Okay.
I see you.
Yeah, I don't like you. Yeah, I don't like you. Not only now, I will say, I didn't like the scene, but maybe this is the petty in me. When Ciara tried to come back and make up with Fran or whatever, I was like, yo, get this fake mess on. Get your fake behind out of my face. Are you serious right now? And I understand Fran trying to keep that peace and, okay, I wouldn't have.
Lied, Trey. She lied.
I know she did. That's why I didn't like it. I was like, nah, I don't like this chick. You don't like her like that. I see what you're doing. If you know, there's a reason why. There's a reason why you don't see Joseph ever talking to Ciara again after that.
Ever. He said, if I ain't never got to engage with that woman again in life, it'll be too soon.
Yep. Like, yo, AJ, I'm cool with you, but your wife, nah, bro.
At a point, I can see Joseph not being cool with AJ because of his
Yes,
wife.
exactly. Because he probably, I'm telling you, that's why I said, be careful with men like AJ. Because him and Carrera, even though we rock with him, he ain't that far off from her. That's why he likes her so much. He ain't that far away.
He wants to be a spectator with all the mess. He gonna watch people throwing
Yeah.
stuff, ooh, and eat popcorn, but he ain't in the mess. But he ain't stopping the mess either. But yeah, I saw Joseph sitting there, and I was like very much in his, he was very centered and watching these women. I don't think he was. I think what was very attractive to Joseph, and I don't know this man, was, as you said, Francesca handled herself quite well.
Oh,
Handled the
yes.
situation quite well. She ain't get out of pocket. She ain't cussing him out, but she's confrontational. Like, y'all are two against him. Say what you got to say. She gonna handle it, not fighting his battles for him, but protecting the relationship. And he's watching them and assessing that these two ladies are not here for good. They're here to stir some stuff up. And what we not gonna do is give y'all fodder to film and have us acting out of pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those couples, like, I don't know if it worked out. I don't think it did. But I was hoping for it. Because personality, right, they do kind of get together. I can see it. There's a universe I can see that working.
Yes, I can. I don't know if it
But
did, but I
I know.
can see Joseph and Francesca working and working well.
And why? Because they didn't have a plan.
That too.
That's it.
But UK folks, I know y'all are trying to scream from the rafters that this is your Brett and Tiffany. I don't see that. But if it is, happy for you. But I wouldn't say they're Brett and Tiffany. They are Joseph and Francesca. I don't like
Yeah,
saying
Joseph.
people are the next. I like saying that they are who they are. They are Joseph and Francesca. And I hope they are successful together. Let me get Moondust Girly to give her opinions on these two and Chevanique.
Yeah, so definitely, Francesca and Chevanique were definitely very different people. And I thought, like, Francesca slightly let herself down when she was kind of looking at Chevanique and kind of saying, oh, she looks way better than me, or I think she looks way better than me. He might like her. In that moment, she forgot he can't see Chevanique. You don't know what he's saying. Now, you may think she looks better than you. He might not. You don't know. He can't see her. And then, like, I found it, like, to be honest, let's not lie, it was quite sad when Chevanique was practically, begging that man to give her another chance. Now, the thing I did not understand and found very confusing to watch is when Chevanique returned to the common area, the ladies' common area. And the two girls were having the conversation with her, and they said, you need to do something to get Joseph. And she said, oh, right, what do I do? And then they were advising her on what she should do and helping her to write something. And then when she came back, and like he obviously didn't choose her, there was one woman there sobbing like it was a funeral. What the hell was that about? He's not going to be choosing everybody.
Well,
Joseph's laugh, by the way, is just diabolical. I'm sorry, it is. He might be lovely, but his laugh is too much.
it's a
Now,
Disney villain.
as for like, I thought myself, and this is just me, I thought Joseph slightly shot himself in the foot when he was kind of saying to Chevanique, I choose Francesca, yet I am still willing to go on another date with you because that does send conflicting messages, whether he likes it or not. And to someone else, it can come across as though you're not sure what you're doing. Even if you do specify, yeah, I'm going to choose Francesca, if you're going to specify to me that you're going to choose Francesca, why are you then going to say to me, but I'm going to come on another date? It makes you look like you're totally unsure of what you're doing and you don't know what you're saying. So it makes him look a bit, bonkers in that regard. Um, I think himself and Francesca get on well. I definitely noticed a lot when like Francesca went to her mom and her mom was very, very serious with her about it. I feel like her mom probably is one of the most like realistic parents we've seen on the show. Because I think a lot of people's parents are very like, oh, isn't this lovely? And what a lovely experience. But her mom was like, let's get down to the brass tacks of it all. What actually happens next? Where are you going to live? And to be honest, like, that's not something I had thought of as a viewer. So when her mom brought that up, I was like, actually, yeah, where the hell are they going to live? It didn't come out that any of them owned a house. Where are they going to live? And how does marriage work after that? And it seemed like Francesca had her head very much in the clouds until that point. No, to be honest, I feel like her mom could have said it in a better way because her mom kind of came in like an absolute bulldozer, kind of like, this is what it is. And it's like, okay, ma'am, relax. You can say it, you can say that you're concerned without looking like a lunatic. That's not gonna work for you. Yeah, and then like the whole situation with them having the conversation when Kira was there and Chevanique and Joseph. Like, I think they were just trying to clarify what actually happened with Joseph and what he said. I felt, Francesca seemed at least to come out of nowhere, kind of, what are you doing? What are you saying to my man? And it's like, well, at the moment, they're not actually saying anything because you haven't really given them much of an opportunity to say anything. You've come in like an absolute hothead and you don't even know what's going on. I still think that Chevanique was a little bit desperate there as well. And also, like, when Chevanique left and they did the whole, like, the hand thing and she ran through, I just thought that was weird. But that's just, I just thought, why are you doing that? Like, and when she tried to say, like, oh, slay or like, I'm the best or whatever, to hell with Joseph. It's like, yeah, that's not what you were saying. And another thing as well, Joseph really should decide what he wants and stick there. Why was he saying that, like, he'd love a really holy lady? And then he's asking someone else what they think about sex before marriage. Like, either you want someone holy or you want sex before marriage. No, I don't know anybody holy that actually wants sex before marriage. I just think that's how they are. No, maybe there are holy people that do like that. I don't know. I've never met someone holy or heard of someone that's quite holy that wants that, but maybe they do. It just sended a very conflicting message that he wasn't sure what he wanted. Did he want someone that was holy, or did he want someone that, wanted sex before marriage? It was definitely different. Yeah, they, and I would say maybe they might still be married. But I wouldn't be surprised to hear they had struggles after the marriage occurred, because then, like, the crap will hit the fan and the reality of life will come in on them. And I think they do need a dose of reality, particularly Francesca. She needs to really see what life is like. Because once you get married, that's not the end of it. It's not, fairy tales after that. You have to figure out where you're going to live. Who's going to bring in the money? How does your life look after this? And I don't think she considered that before getting married.
I think, as Munira said in the comments, that all the women except Chevanique, remember they said there were 14 engagements this season. So Chevanique is the one woman who didn't get engaged. So maybe that's why her friend was sobbing, because she knew that the journey ended for her. I can't remember who the man was that was not engaged, but it turns out a few of them didn't make it past them not being selected for filming. Some of them did. And even one started dating one of the guys from season 1. One of the guys we did not see on season 1 is dating the lady that's a mother from season 3. But definitely Chevanique was the only woman that did not get an engagement that day.
Oh, okay. I didn't
so that's why that lady was sobbing for her.
Yeah, because you heard it about the couple who got engaged, but they weren't selected to be on the show. Because I saw that on Instagram today, and they went off and they spent like a year together. Yeah, this woman. And like she ended up having like this whole, she got pregnant and then had a miscarriage. Yes. Like they had to deal with a whole variety of problems. And they're not even still, like, they're not married yet either. Right. But it was like really surprising that they're still okay with each other after. That's an awful lot to go through.
It has been a year for these two, Jonathan and Sammy. We did not see their journey in the pods. They are one of the couples that got engaged, y'all. It is on Instagram. that they talked about their journey.
Yeah.
They were dealing with long distance relationship as well, and they made it work. They actually went to Mallorca to have their own sort of vacation after the pods, and they showed us that she gave permission to production to give him her number and information, and they met up, went on vacation, came back, navigated. They did end up being with child during the past year. Unfortunately, the pregnancy did not come to term, and so they also had to deal with that grief and that. So they have gone through a lot, including adopting a dog together and navigating a relationship. These two, Jonathan and Sammy, they are on an interview run. They are asking Netflix to release their engagement video so they can have it, because they seem to be standing the test of time in a relationship. So definitely these two, if you see them on Instagram, look at their story. It definitely is heartwarming. You will need tissue if you're like our lovely Sam. They have had a journey this past
Although it
year.
doesn't say much about the other couples who are actually on the show. Because these two went to hell and back, and they had the distance, which makes you look even more now at Jordan and the other people. Like, really? Like, you couldn't handle the distance. Yet these two handled the distance and went through a very hard time and are still here. What does that say about the rest of the people on the show?
Off camera.
They liked each other, was attracted to each other. What I found interesting about this whole when this information came out, you could get engaged in the pods, right? That still doesn't mean you're going to be chosen for a reveal. I found that extremely interesting. They make the choices of what couples they want to go forward, and then they get the reveal. And then it seems like you got to go through a whole song and dance just to get the information of the person you matched with in the pod. It's a little weird. Did any of you ladies found that weird, and how when that little information was dropped? I was like, that's strange.
Yeah, because some of them, they just find each other on social media. We don't know if somebody I don't know if he has socials as much as she does. So definitely, I find it interesting, but at least production, in case people don't want their credentials known. But it's like, if you're engaged, I think they should allow you to have a moment before y'all go back home. Maybe send y'all home on the same flight, something like that. Not keep y'all sequestered. That didn't seem right to me. It's like, we're engaged. Okay, y'all don't want to give us a ring. Y'all don't want to give us a reveal. But let us at least see each other. Let us at least have a moment with each other.
Yeah, they should.
That's what they get. So much control being put over that aspect. I don't understand why. Especially if you're not choosing them to go forward. Okay, at least allow them, hey, you're not going to be chosen, but here's the other person's information. Y'all want to meet up, y'all set it up in your own time.
Right.
But they're not doing that. That's weird. I'm like, okay. It just made me think, has it always been that way? And it does change the dynamic of how Love is Blind operates.
Well, it has been that way. You remember Argentina? Remember the young man Julio, I forgot his full name. Remember, he said he and her met up at the airport. She hit him up through Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I kind of like, okay, even in Argentina, they didn't share the credentials. They had to find each other on social media. And when they found each other on social media, then they were able to link up and have a date and meet and go forth. So I'm guessing it's the same with UK, but it just looked a little different to us because we saw the text messages, because they revealed it on her Instagram. But yeah, they have had a journey. They have had a journey. And I like their personality. So I would be like interested to see from production, why didn't you pick them? Because heck, Ryan and Cuba could have gone home.
Not enough drama.
Probably.
No potential drama. not
Yeah.
enough potential drama. Like these people are not stupid. They put certain. There's a reason why before you come on these shows, they do have you do certain questionnaires, certain psychological tests, and that third. And there's a reason why they tell you to yeah, you're gonna date all 15 people, but they have a good idea already who's probably going to try and be attracted to who off the rip, judging by their personality type and what they say they want. Like, okay, these group of people might end up, dealing the most with each other based off of what they said. And because of these particular archetypes, you can tell what type of probably what type of storyline we're probably going to get. So it's very interesting.
It's very, very interesting. I do just y'all take a moment, find Sammy and Jonathan. If I can find it again, I'll link it in the description. Their Instagram story, because definitely they have gone through a lot and they seem to be very much in love and very much going through the journey, and they're asking Netflix to release their engagement video from the pods. So definitely I'm definitely rooting for them. I like to know who else is engaged and still together. As I said, the other cast member, that the young lady in the blue dress, she's the mother. She was the only one who was a parent on the show. She too is I don't know if she's engaged, but she's dating another gentleman from season 1. So definitely, who I find interesting has disappeared. I have not been seeing Nicole and Benaya anywhere on social media from season 1.
Minding their business.
Are they? They were all over social media before.
That was before.
Okay.
I'm not going to just go off and say, oh, God, something's happened. But I do respect the fact, like, hey, you don't have to be on social media all the daggone time.
But they were. So when you remove yourself from social media, there's speculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to ask questions.
We are going to ask.
There's nothing wrong with Amazing Grace at a wedding. It's not a funeral song. They tried to adopt it as a funeral song, but it's not.
I'm sorry, there's no song at my wedding that going to say saved a wretch like me. Ain't none of us are wretches. Not on this day.
I thought it was a funeral
song. Are you sure about that? I don't know.
We ain't saying it, Trey. I didn't say I wasn't a wretch, but we ain't saying it on my wedding day while I'm walking up the daggone aisle.
Hey, let it go. That's their wedding. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, I think it's a slick way of getting extra guests at your wedding, but that's just me. Tomorrow is the reunion, y'all. It drops at 4 p.m. EST, the US time, but it is of course prime time in the UK. I am going to post a live so I can do a live reunion watch with y'all, so we can have a good kiki and shock value. So please, I will be on at 4 p.m. EST so that we can definitely catch up and watch it together. I want to thank Trey. I want to thank Moondust Girly. You don't come up enough, but it's always a good time.
Well, that's me told. I'll be sure to do that more often then.
Members, we have a live in less than half an hour at 8 o'clock where we go off about maths and its reunion. This is before we have the very demure and mindful live tomorrow in front of everyone. But members,
I don't want to be demure and like tomorrow.
Not on a Saturday night, because what the heck was that is the title. Thank y'all so much for being here, and I'll see y'all on the next one.